Hello everyone and welcome to the Football Manager 2022 Season 3 pre-showdown interviews, where we interview some of your favourite participants, we interview new people, and we interview people who've had a hell of a story from previous episodes. Today's guest, well, he needs no introduction, but we're going to introduce him anyway. He is the Tactic King, he is the guru of Football Manager, and last season he went from 900 to 1 to number 1. He is the two-time champion and the current reigning, defending, undisputed Streamer Showdown champion. It is, of course, Vice Captain America himself. It is Zealand. Zealand, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Just trying to write down my entire intro so that I can repeat it every time I walk into a Starbucks. But thank you.
Can you imagine if every time you walked into a Starbucks, that was what happened? Like everyone got a personalized intro.
Throwing it back to the medieval times, Zealand first of his name, like that sort of Slayer of Dragons. You just walk in. I have like a giant robe. It's like that Elton John meme where he's just sitting in the bus and he's exploding with like feathers everywhere.
Oh, I love that. I
can see it now. I know what I'm doing with my afternoon. I'm happy to be here.
Coming to a stream near you. Zealand, thank you for doing this. And I think the first question obviously is, how does it feel to once again be the Streamer Showdown champion?
Well, it feels good. Took a year off. Figured I'd give some other people a chance, make Kev feel good about himself. And glad that FM22 seems to be a game that I'm understanding again. And I feel like for myself in particular, given the amount of tutorials I make, it's kind of validating. It's one of those things where I can point at and go, see, I do know what I'm talking about sometimes.
Yeah, because I think it is important to mention it has been a while since your last victory. I think you were involved in 10 total since your next victory since last season. Was that something that was bothering you?
No. It was something that other people were pointing out. I knew after the first FM22 competition, the back half of it, I won every game in the league. I played really well in the quarterfinal. We were just unlucky to lose to Curdy. I knew we were going to be able to win at least one, probably multiple over the course of FM22. So you know it's coming. You're going to get the bounce of the ball at some point, and we were able to get it in this last tournament, and so that was good. It bothered me in FM21 because I didn't feel like I had a full grasp of the game. I was hoping I'd be able to win. I got to a final, but I didn't feel like I was completely in control. Right now, I do feel like overall I've been in control of what's going on, and I've understood why things were happening better.
Yeah, and I think that was echoed in FM22 season 1. I did ask you the question about it's been a while since your last victory, and I remember your answer was, I feel like I understand FM22 better. And I remember you saying that to me, and then that was shown by you winning in season 2. Was there anything in particular that inspired your victory, or was it just you doing what you do?
I watched the entire first season of Ted Lasso the day before. I'd seen just one episode, so I watched the rest of the first season of Ted Lasso the day before the tournament. I feel like that really helped me channel my American optimism to carry me through getting a red card against Tom in the semifinal. And there's certain things that would have derailed people that had less of a mustache, and that really helped me push all the way through. Honestly, it did help me stay more positive. Having watched an entire season of Ted Lasso helped me stay more positive, have more fun with it, and I think that helps you make better decisions. I don't think it's one. Obviously, your positivity has no actual effect on Football Manager, but it does keep you from getting overwhelmed by the situation and allows you to make better tactical decisions and realize that you can only do so much. You're playing poker. Sometimes you're just going to lose.
And you mentioned your tactical decisions. You were the only person who stopped Mike from scoring multiple goals in the final. I think one of the things that I saw straight away was you changed your formation to a more defense-minded formation, or 4-3-3, with a defensive midfielder, which is something you hadn't used regularly throughout the showdown. Was that just for Mike? Was that from your homework on Mike? What made you make that decision?
Yeah, I'd been very comfortable adapting to my opponents throughout the course of the 3 games. And I knew that Mike was going to play the same formation he'd been playing because it's been giving him a ton of goals. I mean, he's in the final, right? And so he's not going to switch things up. What maniac would make the final and then look at their tactic and go, you know what, I'm going to do something I haven't done the entire tournament? And I, of course, did that. So he had two midfielders, essentially. And then he played with the width. He played what I call the double width. I have no idea what you would actually call it, where he's got the advanced wing backs and then he's got the two wingers on either side that can be doing whatever the heck they want to do. And what we did was we just put a defensive midfielder in front of his two midfielders. We put an attacking midfielder behind his two midfielders so that once we were in possession, I don't think it was possible for him to get narrow enough to match up player on player. We were just going to be able to move through the middle quickly, and we were playing with a really high tempo, and so the ball would get up there, and there was just no chance if those guys pushed forward at all for him to be able to counter. And that defensive midfielder allowed my two fullbacks to the freedom to defend wide, and then we would have three guys that were sagging into the middle so that we could pick up his threats defensively. It ended up working. It was a great call, and obviously we had more success against Mike, I think, over the course of the tournament than anybody else, because we also beat him during the league. And I told him this afterwards. I just think that the way our two teams matched up, it was just a great matchup for me. Just the way we drafted our two teams, the way we set up naturally to begin with. It was a really, really nice tactical matchup for me personally. I was really happy when he beat Kev, because I felt like Kev wasn't a great tactical matchup for me, but Mike was.
And you mentioned your drafts. Now, I feel like, and this is a personal opinion, and I think it's been echoed a couple of times, and also within FM, sometimes your drafts aren't as strong as you'd like yourself. This is echoed in the game in season 2 when you were 900 to 1 in odds, but you totally blew that out the water. Firstly, what did you think when you saw that 900 to 1? Secondly, do you feel that drafting is part of a weakness of yours, or do you think that people just don't understand the way you draft?
I didn't put much stock in the 900 to 1 because the more of these you play in, the more you see I mean, those odds are crazy. Like 900 to 1 in a group of 9 teams is insane. I don't know where that comes from. My drafting strategy changes somewhat from each tournament. I'll have a tactic in mind and I'll go, okay, I'm going to draft for that tactic. I want some versatility, but I'm essentially going to draft for this tactic, for this type of group of players. And I really did think that we didn't have as many brand name players as a lot of people, but guys like Christopher and Kunku are just really, really good. I draft entirely off of attributes, which I think is something that not a ton of people do. Right, and that I don't want to pass it on to other people. They can they do whatever the heck they're going to do. I do whatever the heck I'm going to do. But I am drafting entirely off attributes, and so I feel like sometimes, other times that, I'll pick up somebody that everybody knows, and they'll go, "Ooh, great pick," because everybody knows who that person is. Or other times you pick up somebody like Nkunku. I just keep using him as an example, or Mbala and Zola, and people don't know who it is, and so they just go, oh, well, they'll see the name when they read through the squad list, and and through no fault of their own, with somebody like Mbola and Zola, I wouldn't have known how good he was. I just looked up the attributes in the database before, and I'm making a list of the sort of things that I want. And I feel like a lot of the perception of the draft comes from the name brand value of the players, and so you can have a very equivalent draft, but people will think it's great or not think it's great. Obviously, it ended up being the right team. It ended up being what I needed to win. I like the heavy-handed budgets, though. Yeah. The unlimited budgets feels a little like more of a free-for-all, but those really heavy budgets, I think, we had 350 million for that last draft. I think more strategy comes into the game that way. And I like it personally.
Is that something you'd want to see more of going forward?
I think it's something I'm willing to put in the work to draft the right guys in those situations, and so it's something that I feel like favors me, and I would prefer. So yeah, but I still think I can win, on an unlimited budget draft that you say where you can get all the best players. It's just I feel like I garner more of an advantage perhaps when there's when there's a heavy budget. I mean, obviously, I just won with the heaviest budget ever. I think it was $350 million for the 18 players. And we were able to find a collection of 18 guys that could get the job done.
Excellent. So, in relation to now you being a champion, do you think you'll play any differently?
No, I do think it's one of those... I mean, you always play a little differently depending on what your opponent's trying to do. If people look at what I did last time and they come out and they decide to play super wide, then that would actually be a best case scenario, and I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing because that's what Mike did. I think the best part about having won the previous game, like the previous tournament, is that if I happen to lose a game, maybe I get unlucky, maybe I just get completely outcoached, you can always just go back and say, well, I won the last one, so shut up. You know, like, I don't need to listen to this. The what in tarnation, you know, Ben's starting to pipe up about something. Kev is being annoying with his bells. Just be like, look, all right, there's only one person that won the last one, the reigning champion. I'll see you on Sunday, right? If you lose a league match or something. That's the best part about having won the last one. Other than that, you're only a success at the moment you perform a successful act.
I like that. And see, I feel like I am actually learning something, being in the mind of the FM guru like yourself.
Oh, that's a Phil Jackson quote. I won't pretend I came up with that, but it's good.
Oh, okay. See, Phil Jackson is like your Alex Ferguson, isn't he?
Well, he's probably the best NBA coach of all time. Yeah, Michael Jordan and then Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. He was the coach of both those guys. But he, I was rewatching I'm always watching something. I was rewatching The Last Dance, and he said that quote a little while ago, and I just went, you know, that's good. Because it's true. I mean, if I won the last Streamer Showdown and I spend the next 10 showdowns going, oh, well, I won that, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I've got to be good again. I've got to show that I can do it again.
Excellent. And then going forward now, who are you looking forward to facing again in any future showdowns? Now, obviously, you don't know the lineup as of speaking, but anyone who you'd like to face again or who you really enjoy facing?
I haven't played Clates in a while. And I don't want to wish that upon myself or him because it's a brutal time. It's a headache. We get into these tweak offs where like he'll make a change and then 2 minutes later I'll make a change to counter it, and then 2 minutes later he'll make a change to counter it. Just super intense tactical battles. But I would love to play him again. Maybe in a final with everything on the line, and just see who can make that one change that happens to win the game. That and Kev. I do feel like beating Kev in a final would be a really wonderful experience. I've beaten him in a semifinal, and I've made clear my intention that eventually I would like to catch Kev's number of victories, and you know, he's not in the next one. So I feel like this is an opportunity to gain another step on Kev while he watches from the sidelines and I wave.
Well, the interesting thing of the two people you've named, including yourself, is you guys are the only multiple winners of Streamer Showdowns. You and Clates are both on 2, Kev's on 7. I don't think anyone else has won more than 1. So that's like a heck of a triple threat there.
3-way tournament for charity or something, you know. That's it. But Clates is so freaking good at the game that I've missed that competition. Kev is a different type of good at the game. Kev is actually real life Ted Lasso. Yeah. But you know what's better than Ted Lasso? Zed Lasso. And so that's what we're that's what we're bringing.
And I think that's the perfect time to end this. Zed Lasso, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the Streamer Showdown. Please make sure you like this video, comment on the video, let us know where you think Zealand will finish in the next tournament. By the time this is released, you'll know the player pools as well. And yeah, enjoy the Streamer Showdown. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.